Amy's done this several times before, but I thought it would be a fun way to start this week's show, which is to go into the archives of one of your social media accounts and find a random picture. And I did not tell her who or where, but she did her deep dive, and this is what we ended up with.
This was from May of 2016.
Wow.
Oh my, that is
Panda,
so
do you
good.
remember this moment as to why you donned a panda mask or where you were?
Okay, wait. I was in, I think this is, what's the big convention, the theme park convention, IAPA, I think.
IAPA, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a store. Okay, that's coming together more. Okay.
Yeah, look at the top, the banner, and it's a big place. Yeah, and I just saw this in IAPA, and I took a picture. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, there you go.
Funny. With my little camera bag and my water, my hand sanitizer.
Pre-pandemic too. You were ahead of the curve.
How you're wearing the bag around your neck, not like a crossbody or anything. Just
this was before crossbodies were a thing. This was the style in 2016, Amy.
It actually hurt. It hurt my posture doing that. It really did. I would have to, because the camera was heavier at one point, and I just hung it around my neck, and not good.
Well, there you have it. Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC Show. I'm your host, Paul Krieger, joined as always by my lovely wife, Amy Krieger.
Hello.
We've got John Scary, aka Big Fat Panda, with us.
Welcome home, everyone.
Senior Sales Associate for the DVC Resale Market, Derek DeBoer.
Hey now, happy Monday, everybody.
The Honorable Jeff Haslam.
Hey everybody.
He did that like, those sitcoms when they do the credits and the people look like...
I was just going to say, like, Jeff knows that Paul's going to come to him, but Jeff chooses to stare at his phone or whatever he's staring at. Jeff has them.
I was looking at the show notes that we're about to talk about because, that's important to know.
No.
And they're like 5 miles long, so yeah.
No.
They are.
Never, ever. Yeah, this one actually, I did write out some detailed notes because I just felt like we could easily derail from a lot of these topics. So this week we are talking about everything member benefits. It's a common question that comes up in the DVC fan Facebook community, a common question that a lot of people ask, which are, what are member benefits? How do you get them? How do you qualify? So we'll be talking everything from DVC Moonlight Magic to lounges, discounts, membership magic beyond, a little of this, a little bit of that, and kind of help you figure out, is it worth it? Or what are some of these perks? And what are some of what I would maybe qualify as garbage perks? Before we get into it, this and all of our content is always brought to you by Keyholder Vacations and the world of DVC. DVC Resale Market, where you can buy and sell a Disney Vacation Club contract. Monera Financial, who will assist in financing that DVC resale contract purchase. The DVC Rental Store, where you can try before you buy, rent some points or rent out your own points. And Unlocked Magic, where you can get discounted Walt Disney World and Universal tickets, as well as discounted party tickets for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, Halloween Party, Jollywood Nights. Head to unlockmagic.com/DVC fan. So, the key question, what are member benefits, Amy Krieger?
Member benefits are benefits that you get for being a member of DVC.
See,
this was a good show.
This was really good. I think that we'll get at least, one thumbs
Have a good
up
night,
out of
everyone.
Oh boy. So often called membership extras, member benefits are those kind of added things that are a part of being what we would consider a direct owner or a direct member with Disney Vacation Club. They do not necessarily apply to your core ownership, nor are they ever, what are they, Derek? They are never guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Last page of your contract. Remember, when you sign and buy direct points from Disney says, we can remove any of these quote unquote member benefits, any of these direct benefits. They are not tied into your membership. We can make any changes we want or completely remove them, and you can't do anything about it. So sign by Mickey and date by the palm tree. That's what they have you do.
I will be honest that I did kind of use AI to help frame my notes here, and it puts some really funny quotes in my notes as well that I'm just now coming up on right now, that says, think of it as the cherry on top of your DVC sundae. Not required, but makes it sweeter if you have it.
I wondered where that came from.
Not from me, Derek. Not from me. But yeah, these are those things that we talk about that are special extras. One of the biggest membership extras that we've always talked about historically is Moonlight Magic, which I am surprised as of recording this show that we have not heard dates for 2026 Moonlight Magic. We actually expected it like 2 weeks ago when we were on our Alaskan cruise. Lauren Dela Cruz, who's an amazing contributor for us, she had a blog prepped and ready with just the space to put in the dates, because we were fully ready. This is the time that the past 2 years they've announced Moonlight Magic. So I'm just going to leave a little gap right here in case we did get Moonlight Magic news and future Paul comes in and tells us all about it.
Well, would you look at that? Literally, the day after we filmed this episode, the 2026 Moonlight Magic dates did drop. Nothing too earth-shattering with what was announced. There are a couple Moonlight Magic events for the end of 2025 that were added for Animal Kingdom. This is similar to what they did last year, and these are open to anyone. Even if you already went to one of the fall Moonlight Magic events, you can register for this. They do have an early registration window for people with resort reservations, and then they will open them up to everyone. Those additional 2025 Animal Kingdom dates are October 29th, November 18th, and December 15th. Then we head into 2026, and similar to years past, we have kind of those 3 seasons that they've built events into. I'm not going to go by season here, but just kind of run down the list. Epcot, February 12th and September 10th. That September 10th date is pretty interesting because that'll actually fall in 2026 during Food and Wine, and I don't know that we've actually seen an Epcot Food and Wine Moonlight Magic ever, or at least in a long time. Hollywood Studios, April 22nd and July 20th. Animal Kingdom 2026 date is January 20th at the moment. Typhoon Lagoon, June 25th, August 4th, and August 20th. And then Disney's California Adventure out on the West Coast, that would be February 23rd. Registration details, all of the important information that you need is over at dvcfan.com.
But in case it didn't happen, or even if it did, wow. Moonlight Magic is probably the biggest member benefit that you hear about. That is a special after-hours event that gets you into Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios. They even do one out on the West Coast at Disney California Adventure Park. So that is a big one. Other membership extras, other member benefits we'll get into a little bit later. The next thing that really comes into this is kind of, how do you qualify? How do you actually get member benefits? And that is really kind of the grayest area of them all, I think, moving into, as we kind of age in Disney Vacation Club, because it kind of is across the gamut. Derek, correct me if I'm wrong. There are some resale owners that purchased before a certain date that actually do qualify for all of these extras. It's before they kind of made them a direct member benefit, correct?
Yeah. We actually have and did a great tutorial, quick little video on it over at the dvcresalemarket.com. You can go up here to buying, and then it says like tutorial videos. You can have one where we break it out by even the years when these restrictions started kind of to creep in, what the different point variables used to be, because it used to be the absolute no-brainer. Like, oh, look, I only have to have quote unquote 25 points direct. So I'm going to buy 300 points resale and then just buy a 25-point contract. And then I'm entitled to quote unquote all the direct benefits. Then they raised it to 50, then I think 75, then I think 125 or something. Now it's 150 150. So you have to buy a minimum of 150 points. And it's, the biggest change was, which I know we're going to talk about, it wasn't just, I had to buy X amount of points and I get to, get these little discounts or these little perks or whatnot. It was, back in 2000, and I want to say 2017 with Riviera, that they said, hey, you know what? You buy a resale contract, you're not going to be able to use it at Riviera or any quote unquote perhaps future resort. So Disney, in a strange move, actually gave us like 2 months notice before they made this change. So we sold a lot of contracts in those 2 months because everybody was buying points no matter what resort, because they wanted to be able to use it for Riviera and for future contracts. So yeah, there's people that bought, before the restrictions that go online. They could book Riviera, they could book the cabins, they could do all that. So it really depends on what level you have, and most importantly, when you bought your resale contract.
Yeah. So as Derek mentioned, today, as of making this video, you would have to buy a 150 point contract or accumulate 150 direct points across multiple contracts to then qualify for these membership extras or these direct owner benefits. For some people like us, that benefit was 50 points. Panda,
It was 25 when we bought.
Yeah.
75.
150.
Yeah, 150 on
150
Panda.
for Panda.
75 when Copper Creek was actively selling.
Yeah. So
it's changed throughout.
it's
Can I
changed
can
over
I
the
make
years.
a
I was at
confession?
1.5.
A real confession, and I'm not here to help Derek sell resale. I went crazy to make sure that my first contract was through Disney so that I can get these benefits. It's got to be like a little over 2 years now that I'm a member, I think. I can't really remember, but tell me if that sounds right to you guys.
2 to 3 years.
Yeah. Okay. So 2 to 3 years. I've never used a direct benefit. It would have definitely benefited me to buy resale. The only time I go to Moonlight Magic and stuff is when Jeff, Derek, Paul, Amy say, hey, John, we have an extra ticket. And I go. I don't wait up to get them. I don't try. I don't even know what I'm doing. So I should have bought resale. I know that now.
Even the times you've gone into like
Use the lounges.
even
The lounges I've used. I never thought about that as a benefit, but you're right. I've used the lounge. Not too much, but I have used the lounges. Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, you're right.
yeah. As Derek also said, some of these benefits have been grandfathered in over time to certain members. So essentially the cutoff date was April 4th, 2016. So if you bought a resale contract prior to April 4th, 2016, those people are grandfathered in. So those people do have these member benefits or these direct member perks. Without it, you could buy resale, you still get the points, you still get to use the points, but you don't get these membership extras or these member benefits. They're called membership extras because, as Derek mentioned earlier, and as we kind of started off the show, these are not guaranteed. They are not a part of your core membership. You can, with your points, you can always do with your points what you're allowed to do with your points. With these benefits do change, and they are subject to whatever Disney Vacation Club is offering at that time. Derek, you hit on this a little bit. And before we really get into what are those core member benefits like Moonlight Magic or like other events or discounts and things like that, I wanted to have a little bit of a discussion on this show as what I think is kind of the modern day direct benefit, which is those resale restrictions and how that's probably going to change Disney Vacation Club over the course of maybe the next 10 to 20 years. Direct buyers have access to the full DVC portfolio. So you can purchase at Copper Creek Direct if you would decide to do so, or Riviera Direct, and you can book within that 0 to 7 month window at any Disney Vacation Club property. Where resale, starting with Riviera, we started to see the introduction of resale restrictions. So Riviera, if you purchase it resale, you can only use the points at Riviera. That carries forward to Disneyland Hotel. That carries forward to Fort Wilderness. We expect that to carry forward to Lakeshore Lodge, most likely, because that might be a part of Fort Wilderness. But in some ways, that benefit, that flexibility, that opportunity to use them at multiple different resorts is, I think, one of the biggest modern day benefits, because you and I have even talked about, if whenever our direct contract runs out, that gives us the opportunity to use points that way, we would potentially buy again so that we could then use our points at newer resorts. It's really going to kind of change the landscape. And so it's not really rolled into it, technically is what we would call resale restrictions. But I just wanted to pose the question, do you think this is kind of the modern day member benefit? And Jeff, I'll jump to you first on this.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I think we're a little bit playing fast and loose with the word quote unquote benefit, but it is something that is going to change over time. I really think it's a double-edged sword, if you will, because it does give you access to all of these new properties. And much to Derek's dismay, they're not going to stop building these things, it appears. Like, it seems like we're getting new DVC resorts faster than we're getting new lights at Tron. So I think moving forward, we're going to have a direct contract to have access to all of those things. The reason I say we're playing fast and loose with the term benefit is you are really paying significantly more for that option. And I question sometimes the longevity of that, because you would have to think at some point there's a ceiling of how much people are willing to pay for this product. I don't know that we're there yet, but at some point in the next 10 years, like, I can't imagine anybody paying $500 a point. I could be wrong, but I don't see it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Bro,
I don't know.
I remember, which is funny you said that story. I remember being a guide in like 2007, 2008. We remember when the points direct were going to hit over $100 a point. And we would all laugh. We'll be like, do you think people are seriously going to buy these points for like $100 a point? When we know when DVC started, people paid like $50 a point, 60. I paid like 70 something. So it was comical that we thought that nobody is going to buy this, or it's going to have to be super highly discounted to spend anywhere near $100 a point. Now, look at where we're at. We're at, $235, $245 a point. They keep building these resorts that use more and more points compared to the older resorts. So therefore, back when I was a guide, the average point package was probably like, 125, 150. Now, if you want to stay at some of these newer resorts, you have to look at the point chart and go, well, God, now I got to buy like $245 a point. And it looks like, according to, say, the Polynesian Tower point chart, I'm going to use this many points. Okay, I guess I do need to buy. Like Jeff said, it's a lot of money. And I don't want, and I think it's important that we say, we do not want to make this show, and that's what we pride ourselves on. This is not a direct benefits are not worth it. It's not worth buying direct. This is 100% not the point of that show. We pride ourselves, and I probably do it every single day. I'll have someone, and I will find out to that family, whatever it is they're looking at purchasing, that if these benefits, I don't care if it's the 10% off a Wetzel pretzel, or it's going to Moonlight Magic, or whatever that direct benefit is at that time. If that's important to you, buy direct. Here's some great friends of mine that still sell direct. They will happily help you. We just want you to be a member. So I want people to know that this is not a resale versus buying direct, or I bought resale and I saved $50,000, so that's way better than you bought direct and you paid more, blah, blah, blah. That's what I don't want this show to be about, which I know we won't make it that, because I think the most important thing that you can do to yourself is do your research first. And that's where, Panda even said, he's like, you know what, if I probably would have looked at this maybe a little bit more, done maybe resale would have been better for me. But if you're the family out there that buying direct and getting taking advantage of these member perks, no matter how temporary they are, if that FOMO is going to kill you, call me, reach out to me. I can give you some great Disney Vacation Club guides who can help, but you just need to know what you're getting into. That's all. Yeah.
I mean, we've all done it. We bought direct. We wanted those member benefits. We wanted to make sure that we did a direct contract. We actually did both at the same time. So we bought a resale and direct when we first bought. Panda, you bought direct. Derek, you bought direct when you initially bought. Jeff, you bought direct and resale, and then bought all of Old Key West. But the point being, we've all done it. And I stand behind a statement that I've made multiple times before, which is that I think that over the life cycle of a Disney Vacation Club member, most are going to become what I call a hybrid member that own a combination of those direct and resale points. You were really quiet over there tonight.
I know.
She's over here. She's over here
She's-
Googling Juneau
No,
flooded,
you could-
like cruise stories.
Oh,
You
and
could
stuff like that.
see her dreaming of sandwiches.
Yeah,
I am hungry.
she's zoned out on this topic. So
No, I agree. To me, it can get very confusing, especially once you start getting into the weeds. And when you were talking about, resale restrictions and in this year's when it started this, but then I was thinking in my head, okay, and then, X amount of people are grandfathered in under 25 points and they have to know when that date changed or, that's important to them, or X amount of people grandfathered under 75 and it can get very confusing.
I think the big thing to know is if you own now and you are eligible for benefits, you know that you have benefits and you know what direct contract you probably bought that gave you those benefits.
Yeah.
Or if you were an older resale buyer, you know that you bought in before any of this nonsense actually occurred.
It's also important to know that whatever that contract is that gave you those benefits, if you don't have the new requirements, once that contract expires, your benefits go away. So if you're grandfathered in with, let's say, a boardwalk contract in 2024, 2024, that's last year.
That's last year.
In 2042,
Now they're even more confused.
in 2042, you're going to lose those benefits. So luckily for us, it's our 2057 contract.
Yeah.
So if we want to keep having benefits after that, we'll have to make some decisions. But I don't know. It's just interesting to think about.
So let's talk, before we get into the even added confusing nature of this, what some of these benefits are, and all of these benefits that Panda has never used. First off, a big benefit is the ability to buy an annual pass, basically at that Florida resident level. So the eligibility for a sorcerer's pass or an Incredi pass. The ability to buy that as a direct member is a big perk that a lot of people look at. If you have a larger family, if you are buying annual passes for 4, 5, 6 people in your family to get down to Disney World multiple times a year, then this is an entirely huge savings as compared to those ticket prices.
Yeah, and to be clear, the Incredi Pass anybody can buy, but it is the ability to purchase the Sorcerer's Pass, which is typically a Florida resident pass. That is the DVC benefit. So it's not a discount on annual passes. It is just the ability to purchase that lower tier pass that has it has some blockout dates, but out of all the passes that have blockout dates, it has the fewest.
Yeah.
But yeah, now if you live in Florida, then that benefit is not, for Panda, he's a Florida resident. He can purchase any of the Florida passes. So it doesn't matter, that benefit doesn't make sense for him. But if you live out of state, that can be a good benefit.
Next benefit are those member lounges. So Panda, you've visited the Epcot lounge before. I think you went to the Magic Kingdom lounge already. So this is one that has been growing as of late. So we do have the Epcot member lounge. We recently had McKim's Mile House added over in Frontierland at Magic Kingdom. We have a new member lounge, also Starview Station at Disneyland Park, and also kind of a lounge/sales center at Disney Springs. So this has been kind of a growing brand in that member benefit space, which I think a lot of people enjoy, is the ability to have a place that has some air conditioning, you have maybe a light refreshment from a Coke Freestyle machine, have some small stacks like, Doritos or Oreos or
Apple chips.
I
do think if they keep going with the lounges, I think that will draw people in. Add one to Animal Kingdom, add one to Hollywood Studios. Then you've got a lounge.
I do wonder if they're devaluing another product they have in the process of that, though, which is Club 33. But
no,
just
I don't think the value of Club 33 is in the lounges. I think it's in the additional perks that you get.
I don't know. I heard one person tell me one time they bought it for the bathrooms.
Well, that.
Just saying.
Yeah, but I've never got offered a free VIP tour at a DVC lounge.
That's
Unlike
true.
it.
That is true.
Yeah.
So
Other things related to benefits include dining and merchandise discounts. These can typically range anywhere from 10 to 20%. Restaurants on property, shops at Disney Springs. Sometimes you'll see benefits extended to Shop Disney. You can definitely save some money by eating at these restaurants and having that Disney Vacation Club benefit. The argument here on the other side would be if you are, again, a Florida resident or an annual pass holder, if you already have that, you're receiving the same exact discount. So annual pass holder discounts and DVC discounts typically go hand in hand.
And if you have a Disney Chase Visa credit card, you get very similar discounts, but there are some spending restrictions. So, for example, like the 20% in stores, you do have to spend at least $50. But who's going into World Disney and buying something that isn't usually spending at least $50?
None of us. Yeah.
I was gonna say, do they have anything under $50?
Not much.
Also in this realm are what we would call membership extras. These are those specialty events that Disney Vacation Club puts on throughout the year. And we've seen kind of a growing number of these also in the past few years. The big one, we talked about it to kick off the show, Moonlight Magic, that specialty after hours event. It is, free snacks, rare character meets, sometimes fireworks, low wait times for a lot of your popular rides for these parks. I will say, it is very cutthroat to get into these events. It is similar to registering for a Run Disney race, if you're familiar with that process. Getting that perfect DVC reservation right at 8 a.m. when reservations open. It is very, very competitive to get into these events sometimes. That as the Disney Vacation Club membership has grown, it's gotten even more competitive. And that's been kind of a growing complaint that a lot of people have here. So yes, it is a member benefit, but there's not the promise that you're going to get into these events. I'm
just going to back you up on that, Paul, because I hear at least a couple times a week from people that bought direct because that was for them their main kind of FOMO. Like that was it. It was like, oh my God, they told us about these private parties and the parks are shut down and all the wait times are low. And they're like, Derek, we've been a member for 4 years and we've never been able to get in ever. They were buying more points with me because they wanted more points for their membership. But to them, this one thing that put them over the edge, that made them want to do this, they've tried for 4 years. So I hear it from people all the time that you've got to have the sun, the moon, the stars, everything else line up perfectly to take advantage of these events. So just keep that in mind.
Yep. Smaller events that they've been doing more frequently. I think this is, again, response to the negative feedback they've gotten for like Moonlight Magic. A lot of people always say, these are always at these certain weeks and I can never travel during those weeks. I'm never, that doesn't align with my vacation plans because when it comes down to it, there's maybe 10 to 12 Moonlight Magic events a year. So you've got to be here on one of those 10 to 12 days to actually even get to go. So Disney Vacation Club's response, and I think it's a good one, has been to pepper in some other smaller events throughout the year. One that we know is meet and treats. So these happen, there's some upcoming ones that are happening around the Halloween season. There's one that they historically do over Valentine's Day. And again, these are just some special character opportunities, give you some free snacks, and just kind of an added perk to make you feel special about being a Disney Vacation Club member. Also, during the summer months, they have been doing what they call Welcome Home Weeks, which is about 3 to 4 weeks during August and into September. They actually just ended mid-September this year, and they have a plethora of options and benefits. This year, they added some things like a free tote bag that was available at Disney Springs. They did a specialty donut day, I think 2 days at Everglazed, which Everglazed had like a specialty welcome home donut that they gave out for free those days. a lot of just small little things like that, some ice cream treats. So kind of that month or 6 weeks or so is really just peppered with a variety of different benefits and different kind of freebies and giveaways, because they know that a lot of DVC members kind of travel down here during that time of year. Specialty gifts. If you ever stop by a DVC kiosk, we know Magic Band sliders have always been a thing that comes out. They have specialty pins that come out throughout the year.
They have coins one time.
I feel like they had a coin at least once. They had some sort of, or maybe that was a coin we got at like the opening of a lounge or something.
I remember a coin, but I can't remember why.
We have a lot of these things just in a box upstairs. That just kind of tells you it sounds special at the time. I do still have my Magic Band slider. That is the coolest one. There you go. Panda's got a bottle. Look at that. Perfect. So all of these like kind of little free pins, free, snacks, small pieces of swag, but they give you that extra little bit of pixie dust to make you feel special and feel recognized as a member. Want to pause there? Any comments from you guys, about any of these benefits or kind of how you've used them or seen them in the past, other than the resale guy in the corner?
Why is Derek laughing?
No. Well, no, I wanted to add something, but other people can certainly jump in. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. I just want to say, despite everybody, talking about this, which again is very, very important to say, direct members get this and they get this and they get this. I want to stress that I tell people every single day, when you buy a resale contract, you're going to be using the same member website. You are going to be using the same phone number to call member services and member accounting that everyone else does. You're going to be receiving the same free parking. You are going to be receiving the same extra magic hours, right, that they do in the resorts because you're staying in a deluxe Disney resort. So I think it's amazing to me how many people, don't think that, or they thought, what website do I use? And it's not because you bought a resale contract, we've got to send you to like some dark web website and boot you through into like the Disney website. It's the same. Member services is not going to treat you any different whatsoever. When you check into a resort, you're not going to be treated any different whatsoever. That is just where research comes into play, because I hear every day, all the agents at the DVC resale market, we hear every single day, like, oh my God, I wish I found you guys sooner, because I was looking at buying, even if it's, Saratoga Springs. So I'm looking at Saratoga Springs with you guys, and it averages, say between $90 and $100 a point. Saratoga direct from Disney right now is $215 a point. So that's when that family goes, Derek, so I was thinking we'll probably need like 200 points. So this is over like $100 different in point. So if I buy a resale contract, I'm going to save 20 grand. And that's where their own brain kicks in and they go, that's a lot of like pretzels that I have to buy at like 10% off.
Yeah.
That's a lot of, 10% off t-shirts, or that's a lot of even annual passes that you can currently buy. So that's where you gotta do your research and you figure out what's important to you. I think the most important reason that people buy with us, and I just had a couple families do it today, is because they looked and they said, Derek, for example, we looked at buying direct, but you know what? We realized the resort that we needed was, in their case, it was the boardwalk. It wasn't about bells and whistles that you get buying direct. It's the fact of, I want to buy this resort and make it my home resort because I've done the research and I realize how important it is, say, to own the Grand Californian, to own the boardwalk, to own the beach club. So, Derek, what they're trying to tell me that, yes, I can use my Polynesian points at the boardwalk, technically at 7 months out, but doing my research, watching this amazing show that comes out every single Monday has helped me determine that I think this is the path that I want to go down. So you got to look at perks, but you have to look at what resort do you and your family need, and then make the decision from that point on. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I just have to derail this conversation for 1 second. 40 minutes ago, we recorded our first show and Panda froze in the middle of it and had to come back. And I had messaged in the group it was just kind of funny the way you froze. And 40 minutes later, while Derek was talking just now, Panda wrote back in the group, LOL. Like, we're not all here together recording. He had to write
That
back.
just tells you how much the rest of us zoned out while Derek talked there.
Yeah, I'll be
Also-
honest with you, Derek. I love you with all of my heart. I have no idea what you just said. I'll have
But
to
there
watch
are
it with
people out
everybody.
there listening. It's just not us.
Are you serious?
No, it made sense.
You don't
They
realize
did-
the importance of the resort that you own because you had 900 points at Old Key West. But if you wanted to always stay at the boardwalk, if you
Oh, we're
wanted
getting
to
a
stay at the
review.
beach club, then you
you
realize
s-
the importance of the resort. That's it. That's all I got to say.
So,
I'm done.
Paul,
While we're
back to-
derailed, hold on. They caught the Disney Springs scuba diver. Did you see?
What?
They caught him. He was celebrating with his family after his 20 grand win. They released a picture.
oh my gosh.
Well, welcome
Okay.
to the interlude portion of the
Oh.
show. Go ahead, Jeff.
Back to what the show is about, which I think was membership perks.
I don't know. Maybe.
I forgot. It's been a while since
You
we
and I
talked
both,
about it, but I think the great thing about these membership perks is it's not something that Disney has to do. We talk about it all the time. These perks can come and go and ebb and flow and whatever, but they do offer them, and it does not cost you anything extra to go to most of these things. So I think that is something that it really does show members what how much they mean to them, and it's something that it's nice. Now, having said that, Moonlight Magic, as we said, it's harder to get into than a Taylor Swift concert. We catch a lot of crass because we seem to be at all of them, even though we're not. We don't get any kind of special treatment. It's just all about luck of the draw. Sometimes we're just very lucky to be in this space, and we have members that reach out and say, hey, do you guys want to come and hang out with us? And that's so great. But it's kind of like knowing that it's a little bit of a lottery, and you should never buy for that reason, but it is a nice win when you get it.
Yeah. But don't think that Disney's offering these little perks like just out of the goodness of their heart. You know that, right? I mean, they're doing it so then when someone meets with a direct guide, they have a look at this list. Look at all the parties. Do you like free donuts? Here's a free donut that we're doing this, this, and this. That's why they're doing it. They're not like, how can we make our members happy? They're doing it to say, how can we convince more people to buy direct? That's why they're doing it.
And this man knows it because he sold those donuts for a lot of years.
He did.
And,
He
and
sold
again,
a lot of
I,
those donuts
It
and
was
those
the
ice cream. Oh,
the
the
ice
ice
cream
cream at
I-
Saratoga Springs. That was it back in the
We
day.
got to do it
I
one
do
time.
not. It is not my intention to help resale. I really mean this for real because I bought direct.
It's
And I'm
okay.
doing-
This
I'm
show's
doing-
called
I go to-
resale benefits now.
But when Jeff says you don't pay more for those things, I paid 10 grand more to buy direct so I could go sit in the lounge and have a free Coke. So we do pay for it technically. If resale's available.
I was going to
I
save
tried
this.
to save us. I'm out.
I was going to save this for the end of the show, but like I did have in my notes, like I do want to applaud Disney because they've done a lot better job with these benefits. Because if you go back a year or so with this show, we were critical about the benefits being offered. I know that if I were a new member buying in today, and I stand behind this, I would have FOMO if I did not buy a direct contract and I did not be eligible for these benefits. And yes, am I paying more money for it because of it? Yeah, I am. But it is the FOMO of missing out on some of these things, and they look really cool. We make them look really cool. We, people posting on the internet. It's like anything that you see on the internet when someone does something and you're just like, oh, wow, that's cool. I wish I could do that. That feeling has a financial value to it. Now, the number crunchers out there, yes, you are saving a bunch of money, and I applaud you for the fact that, you are able to have this membership and not feel bad about missing out on those things. I'm not one of those people. I would have FOMO about missing out on some of these events and doing those things. And I think that Disney Vacation Club has done a good job in recent years in adding more of those opportunities. Yes, definitely to Derek's point, so that they can have that laundry list of things so that they can say, look at all these things that you get for being a direct member, because at the end of the day, their goal is to sell.
Wow. And speaking of FOMO, there's something that we said we weren't going to buy that you bought literally on day one, which is the other tier that we have of
this is where it
benefits.
gets even more confusing. And Disney has now come out with a paid level of Disney Vacation Club benefits called Member Magic Beyond. So this program was launched at the end of 2024, and members that purchased were eligible throughout the year in 2025. It is $99 per year, and it gives you access to things like discounted ticket prices. You get a Memory Maker benefit that's valid. I think it's a 30-day benefit for Memory Maker, which gives you access to PhotoPass photos. You get the access to the Epcot Lounge after hours with an exclusive meet and greet that is only for those extra hours for the Member Magic Beyond access. You get priority lounge access to Disney Vacation Club lounges. You can actually use your points for a Disney Vacation Club, or I guess a Disney annual pass to Walt Disney World, or to renew your annual pass. You can use your points to pay for that. You also get bonus one-time use points, up to 24. I always call this like buy one, get one free one-time use points. At the end of the day, a lot of these things, when launched, I think we kind of turned our nose up at, but there is value here in saying that if you're going to buy X number of one-time use points, it makes more sense to buy Member Magic Beyond to get a couple of these points. Or if you're going to buy Memory Maker, if you're doing that for your annual trip to Disney World, buying this is cheaper than buying that and gets you some of these added perks. My question, I guess, to you all is, the thought of this program and whether or not it's been successful, because my impression has been the advertising and the marketing was hot and heavy early on to get people on board with this, but I have not heard a lick of anything about what's happening next year. And what are they gonna add? What are they gonna change? What is gonna make this worth the $199 that they probably try to charge for it next year? I'm just throwing an idea out there. I don't know that that's the fact. I hope they keep it at $99. But whatever the ploy here with having this paid member benefit option, it's kind of a question of, okay, but is it worth it? And are people going to? It's like those other subscriptions that you have, and it's like, what is going to get me next year to renew this subscription?
I don't think you're going to hear about that for a a long time.
Did you guys get your worth out of it? What do you guys think? You bought it. Did you feel like you saved?
We personally
bought it for FOMO.
Don't, because we
just gave $100 to Disney.
But that doesn't mean that there isn't value for people. We don't buy one-time use points anymore. We don't.
Have you used it to get priority in the lounges? Have you ever used it?
No, we've tried. So one time there was nobody in the lounge, so that didn't matter. And then the other time was when
they kicked them all out.
It was when McKim's Mile House opened, and they wouldn't even let us join the list because they said that it was at capacity. Even though but that was like the first day it was open. So yeah, so we actually haven't used
priority to the lounges and they won't even put me on the list. There's a problem there. They need to save 5 or 10 spots for these people to always.
I agree that day was mishandled, but I think
they knew it was mishandled.
I think they know that, and I think they.
But it was also opening day, so I'm not going to hold it against them too much. But
we did go into the lounge once and do that character thing. So
we did Disneyland too. Did you mention that?
What was it? Disneyland?
We did Starview Station, and we used the benefit to get into the lounge there.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to note that even Bruce in the DVC fan Facebook group, which made me think of when you guys started talking about this, he made a special post on it, which I thought was really interesting, and said, I paid the $99 basically for lounge access. It was well worth it. So he was talking about how he went to Epcot and the Magic Kingdom, was told it was a long wait, got right in. He goes, one night I was with friends at the Epcot lounge. The lounge closed at 5, but wait, I paid the $99 and got into that lounge with my friends until 8:30 that night. So Bruce sees the value.
So there's definitely value in it for, you know what I mean? And then like I said, if you're buying one-time use points, if you are going to buy Memory Maker and you don't already have it attached to an annual pass, like you can definitely get your money's worth. It's going to be on an individual basis. Now, you were talking about how we haven't heard anything for next year. I don't think you're going to hear anything until like a week out. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to give you too much time to think. You know, it's basically like if you don't buy it at the beginning and start using it at the beginning, you're not getting as much value from it. And you get the same length of time as anyone else. So they want to be selling it, you know, January, whatever. They're probably not going to tell you what to expect until like a week or two before, so that you don't have all this time to sit and analyze and listen to these 5 people on the DVC show.
I don't know about
break
that.
it down.
I would disagree with that only from a perspective of, you know, any type of annual membership program. You know, the goal is to retain membership. It's called churn, essentially. You never want to see a high churn rate. You never want to see people drop off. So to get them inspired, you're going to offer something to get them to renew. We see it happen with, you know, Disney Plus. You know, if you drop your subscription, they're going to offer you, you know, something back. We see it with HelloFresh all the time. We're big HelloFresh, you know, customers here. We buy into that meal program, and whenever you try to cancel it, it's like, oh, why are you canceling? Please stay, and we'll give you $20 off your next 4 boxes. Like, so I think that they want to try to avoid that and get ahead of it, which would mean that they kind of really want you to renew. Like, so I would expect something like within the next month or so. I get your point where it's like it minimizes the benefit, but a lot of the benefits that are being offered really aren't minimized by anything. Like, you know, the one-time photo pass thing, you know, that's not minimized. You know,
No, I think more that they want to give less time to think about it. They want more people to be like, oh, I better buy it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Instead of thinking about it and really analyzing all the options, and if they're going to
I don't even remember like last year, when did it go on sale?
I don't think there was that much time.
So I have a question about it because I don't have it. But did it say when you bought it that this is the price just for this year? Like, what was the legalese in it? Was it this year?
It was specific January 12th through December 31st of 2025. Okay.
And from my point of view, oh, sorry, Paul.
I was just going to say, purchases started on December 3rd, 2024. That was when they actually opened up purchases. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. And for me, like $99 for what you're getting, I didn't buy it for the same reason that you've already talked about. I'm a local. Most of the perks didn't really do much for me. If they double it, like, you know, you mentioned as a hypothetical to $199, there's going to have to be a lot more to cover that big spread. I think you'll probably see, if I'm doing my predictions, something like $129, you know, a little bit of an increase with maybe another perk or two. For me, I wish it would give, you know, either a better dining discount or a quick service discount or something that's a little more accessible to the entire direct membership, rather than just, you know, we've already talked about that the vast majority of Disney Vacation Club members live here in Florida. It would be nice if they took care of the local people too a little bit, you know, but I didn't buy it just because I didn't see anything for me personally, but I never said it was a bad deal. Like if you're somebody that uses some of these options, I think $100 is kind of a steal. But
if I was buying direct,
who can use it.
If I was buying direct, it would be an absolute no-brainer because you're dropping $30,000. So when the guide says, and hey, would you like VIP lounge access and this and this and this, and it's only $99, I would that yes rate had to have been 99.9%. Because if you're spending that much money for what's $99? It's a no-brainer.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Yes.
So it looks like it went on sale, it was announced end of October last year, and then it went on sale December 3rd. So that's like a little over a month notice. So
maybe by December we should hear something about what the 2020.
Yeah, or even November, end of October.
Yeah,
but
all right, we'll wait and see.
We listened to our guests, and they said they wanted to pay more than $99.
I would pay more if there were some good benefits.
Yeah, to Jeff's point, if there were some more things that we could use locally, could
you imagine
bundle into this? Good.
Skip the line to meet some of the characters. You get 3 passes, anytime there's a character line, you get, we're gonna just let you be the next person. That would make people go
One
crazy.
lightning lane for one day for the entire year. Of 20. No, the big one was Tables in Wonderland. Like, if you could apply that benefit.
I'd take one lightning lane
100%.
Or even something like the Disney Visa card used to have a specific meet and greet. You could only meet Boba Fett if you were a Disney Visa card member. If
Do
you're
that
a
again,
Magic member Beyond, you get to meet Oswald or Steamboat Mickey or I don't know, something that's a little more accessible to the greater membership.
Is Jeff disappearing for anyone else?
Yeah. What was that?
Is Jeff disappearing for anyone else?
Yeah, he's getting a little blurry.
Oh, he's fine.
Yeah, his internet's ready to go too.
The ghost of Jeff Haslam.
Last thing I wanted to highlight tonight, I did have on here, are benefits worth it? I think that we've kind of covered that over the course of our conversations as to what we believe you need to think about as to whether or not you think benefits are worth it. The last thing I did want to cover is what I do call garbage benefits, or at least I chalk them up into the realm of garbage benefits. And as Jeff mentioned either earlier this show or the last show, this is why Disney doesn't invite us to anything, is because of how we're honest about this. But I have received phone calls, and I know Derek has, from time to time, hey, I'm thinking about buying 300 points so I can go on a Disney cruise every other year.
Oh, yeah.
No. You should never think about buying points to go on cruises. You should never think about buying points to do like some of the adventure swaps or anything like that. Please, just sit down and crunch the numbers for a little bit if you're really thinking about that, because it is a big way that, again, to Derek's point, it's something that they offer, and it's something they can add to this list of things that they offer. Use your points for a Disney cruise. But my two big takeaways are your points are more valuable than that, and the restrictions that are actually involved in you getting into that program and then having something happen and you can't use your points that way.
Just watch the show we did called 5 Ways to Waste Your DVC Points.
There you go. That's all we have to say. Watch the show, 5 Ways to Waste Your DVC Points, and you will learn everything you need to know about that. There are some things that are chalked up as direct member benefits that just truly are a sales tactic, and I think very deceptive in a way to sell direct contracts.
Yeah,
everyone's just nodding.
No one else wants to say anything to that. They just want to see me crash.
I said agreed.
But I think there are some things that shouldn't be considered when it comes to what are we considering benefits. So, well, there you have it. We've talked for longer than I thought we were going to talk about member benefits. Thank you, Derek, for the monologue.
You're welcome. And my only suggestion out there, just do your research. That's it. That's all we ask. Do your research.
Really interested to learn in the comments of this video, and I might even, as part of this, put a poll up on DVC Fan. We've done this before, but just asking that question: are you a direct member? Are you a resale member? Because most times the results do surprise us. There are, again, just like us. There are a lot of direct members. There are a lot of direct members for the reasons that we have said, which is the fear of missing out on a lot of these perks and a lot of these events. Do they save us money? That can be debated very much, especially if you're a spreadsheet person. But do they make you happy? That's all that matters at the end. So if you ask yourself all the questions that we've kind of brought up over the course of this show, and the answer is yes, then go for it. If you're trying to save some money, then this guy down here is your man, and he'll talk to you some more. I pointed in the wrong direction, but you get the point. But that's going to do it for this episode of the DVC Show. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next Monday.
Bye.